I think some of you are already guessing what I'm going to be doing today. We're going to be replacing a timing chain and an M117 V8 engine, 1975 model. And this is something we do quite regularly now. In fact, we sell a lot, I'm talking about a lot of timing chain kits on our website, primarily due to the age of the engines. With this engine, when I started up, I hear a rattle. And when you hear a rattle, when you start these up, you want to pay attention. You want to pull the valve covers and see what's going on. Now, over here is just a quick tip for those of you who are pulling your valve covers on your old V8s. Put some rags back in the corner. This will keep oil from leaking all over your exhaust manifold, causing a big stink when you do start the engine. Look at how much oil just came out of there and soaked up that rag. So that's just a little tip. But I want to show you this chain. You know, we pull the tensioner. We're getting ready to roll the new chain in, but look at the slop. This is real bad. It's been quite a while since I've seen one this sloppy because it's not only here, but look at over here on the left side. We're going to try a chain installation guide. And this may be the first one of these that any of you have seen. I think you can see right away what this is going to do. Any of you who've changed these chains know how critical it is that you don't let the chain jump sprockets when you're rolling the new one into the engine. We're going to cut here, we're going to hook up the new chain, we're going to rotate the engine over by hand, and we're going to pull the new chain in as we pull the old chain out. Now look what's going to happen here. This is going to be bolted in here, and this keeps the chain tight to the sprocket. We'll feed the new chain in right here, and when the old chain in comes out, it'll just roll over the edge and drop down into a box that we're going to put underneath the engine. This is not going to be a complete video on how to change one of these timing chains. I have plenty of information on my website. I have a manual written. I have videos that come with my chain kits, but I do just want to share this other tip. Notice I've plugged the hole. This is very critical. Plug the hole underneath the sprocket. If any of these pieces fall out, you don't want them going down in the engine. So once that occurs, see now this is opened up. So I can connect the new chain right here. We're going to roll this in clockwise. So we're going to be pulling the new chain in this way. So we're going to connect the new chain right here. So now we have to put the guide on. Notice the two zip ties are mounted so I can cut them loose from the back side. We'll get this guide on. We'll cut the zip ties, tighten the guide down, then come back and connect the new chain. Here you can see I've mounted the guide, but I've left the 3 bolts loose. I want to be able to cut these zip ties and get them out of there before I tighten down the bolts. Okay, we pull that one out. And then we pull this one out. Now I can go ahead and tighten this down in preparation for connecting this new chain. The new chain is connected. We've just started to roll it in underneath. Look at where the old chain is coming. It's just going to flip out and I'm going to go straight down on the ground. Notice how I put the new chain in a bucket, and I've even zip tied it. You have to keep the new chain straight on when you're rolling this in, and then I've got it in a bag so it won't get dirty. And notice I'm continually protecting any areas around this sprocket. Now I'm going to show you probably could do this yourself with only one person, but I still don't recommend it. And see, before I used to have to clamp this down and get zip ties and keep it tight against the sprocket. But with this guide, see, all the way from here, all the way down there, this is the critical area right here. Where it's coming out isn't quite as critical. I'm going to get my buddy in here now, and he's going to crank this through. We're going to go all the way through, and we'll come back and show you how it comes up at the end. Okay, here's the end of the new chain. And if I roll this up, there's the end there. So this falls right into that sprocket. So we have success. If this doesn't line up, you've got a big problem. So we were able to roll the chain in without it skipping any teeth. Now the big challenge is getting the chain link off the old chain and getting it installed here. I believe the best thing we can do right now is we're going to zip tie this chain again, and we're going to remove the guide. This is the most enjoyable time of this whole job, is when you finally get this up and you get the little chain link in and you get the two clips on and everything lines up. Now I can cut those zip ties. You see why I'm so paranoid? I'll keep using zip ties and make sure they don't fall down inside the engine, because I never want to take the chance of having this chain drop down in the engine or jump a couple of teeth. Now the surprising part, look at this. I have not installed a tensioner. Look at how tight the chain is here. See that? Now let's go over the other side. This is what's really surprising. Watch this. I'm going to lift the top. I'm going to reach under here and move the bottom. Look how tight that is. I think we're okay. We're going to take a close look at that used chain and discuss why that wore so badly on a car that has about 130,000 miles on it. I want to give a couple of comments about this, kind of my analysis of how this works. This does add an element of safety, but do not assume it's going to eliminate all risk. One of the challenges is dealing with the link inside this small area, okay? The other is there's quite a bit of work involved in pulling off the alternator and the alternator mounting bracket to mount this up. So in the end, it may be a toss-up. I still like my method of putting zip ties in, turning it a little ways, removing the zip tie, put new zip tie in. You say, well, Kent, that takes a long time. Well, this isn't exactly super fast because of the extra work in getting it mounted and the extra hassle of dealing with getting this clip connected in this small space. If you need the extra element of safety, don't assume that it's going to give you 100%. But this is an option. I don't know if we're going to go into production on this or not, but I at least wanted to show you this on YouTube as an option. Maybe some of you want to 3D print your own.